Hi everybody, welcome to the Roy Family Homestead. Today we're going to be rendering some beeswax. Alright everybody, so I have a bucket here about 3/4 of the way with beeswax that we're going to render out. This is from our fall pull when we did our honey pull back before the winter started, and it's got all kinds of gunk in it because it's the cappings off of the frames. So we're going to do a little process to get everything rendered out of the wax is what we want to end up with, just wax. So I'm going to be using a slow cooker to do this, but first, because there's still honey and stuff in this wax too, you can't get it all out, I'm going to actually be soaking it for about an hour in this bucket with just some tap water. Now the other thing I have is, this is some wax that we got off of when we had a swarm, and the little swarm hung around under one of our trailers for about 3 days, and when they finally flew off, they left us some nice honeycomb. That's pretty, I mean, it's white. It's got some stuff in it, so I won't have to do as much to render this out, so I'm not going to put it in this and see what color we come out with this, okay? Let's get started. All right, so here we go. You ready to look in there? Ooh, yucky. It doesn't smell too bad. It smells really, really honey-y, kind of. I don't know. But anyway, so we're going to open that up, and we're just going to bring the tap water over here and basically coat it, cover it, fill it up so that it's covering that wax down there. So we're going to let that run. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is, there's still some caps outside, some actually comb from where we were cleaning out some of the hives back in the fall, and there was some pollen and honey in some of those that we cut out, and I just left them outside so that the bees would clean them up for me. So we're going to run outside real quick and get those and add them to this bucket. All right guys, here we go. Let's walk out here to where our hives are. It's a very cool day, overcast. We have some really exciting things going on in the homestead this year that we've planned, new projects, so we'll see how they come out to fruition. Well, hi there, girl. Look, we got a little chicken. See, can you see her? She's out here. This is not where you're supposed to be. You're outside of the fence. She's like, I don't care. There's stuff to be scratched out here. All right, so let's take a trip over here. Actually, I'm going to step inside the greenhouse because I need something to put the wax in. I'm just going to grab a pot. Let's see. I am loving the greenhouse. Super excited about getting some stuff started this spring. In here, right now there's not much going on in here. The herb garden, that's pitiful right now, but it will be, I'm sure, full bloom here shortly. So, out here in the bee yard, I guess we call it, we had some unfortunate news about a week ago. Hopefully the wind's not hitting the mic too much, but it looks like we've lost all but one hive through the winter. If you look over here at my shoulder, that hive right there in the middle is the only one that we found bees in out of, so we got 2 right here, those 3, and then our horizontal hive. We're not really sure what happened. It was a really, really wet winter, still is, and cold, so we don't know if that had something to do with it, if we had hive beetles that really, we don't know yet. So once it starts maybe warming up just a little bit, get a little closer to spring, we're going to come out here and break everything down, clean everything up, maybe figure out what happened, but that'll be in another video. So right now we are looking, see, and it's not a lot out here, just a little bit that I threw out here, and there's still some pollen in here that they didn't all get, but you know what, it's wax, and we want to save and use everything that we can here on the homestead, so we're not going to let it go to waste. All right, I'm finished getting all this up and meet you guys back inside, okay? All right, so I've got water in here, but I'm going to kind of break up some of these bigger chunks, just kind of, you know, break them up a little bit so that it can really get soaking in the water. It won't float quite as much, and it will actually soak. The reason I'm soaking it in water for about an hour is to get the honey out of it. The honey will dissolve in the water, and some of the bigger impurities that are in there will float to the bottom. So when I scoop the wax out, there's less that I'm going to have to filter out in the slow cooker. So, and then I've got that stuff from outside. We're going to kind of do the same thing. I'm going to break it up, put it in here, and then in about an hour or so, I'll be back. Okay guys, so the wax has been sitting in the water for a little over an hour now. So this is the part of actually rendering. So what I have is a big old bag of paint strainers, and I use 2 to do this, so that way I've got a good filtration system going on. And then I have 2 of my slow cookers. The large one here, we're going to do the bucket, and then I'm going to use a small one to do that white wax, so that way it's not mixed up. And basically at this point, all we do is we're going to take and kind of skim the surface of this wax, because remember, the larger particles are going to fall down and this gets kind of messy. So we're going to do, hold on, let's try a different way. We're going to take it and go ahead and put it around just to keep it open. There we go, so we know it's going in. And if you get water, it's okay. I mean, there's water in there. So I've already put water in here in both of these, about 1/3 of the way full. And this is going to take a few minutes, so I am going to fast forward. Okay, so once that's done, kind of go ahead, what I do to find it's easier is I put the lid on, and then I bring the liners around here and kind of pull them tight using the lid. Because you want to kind of have it suspended above the water, because you're wanting the wax to melt through the liner into the water, but you want to keep all the other stuff up in it. So we're going to kind of pull it tight like so, and then I take a hairband and wrap it tight. All right, and then we want to turn the warmer on to medium heat if you can, low if not, and then you have to kind of watch it, because beeswax will burn and catch on fire, so don't turn it up too high. And then you definitely need to come and monitor it, see how your particular cooker is working, because all of them are, I find, are different. It usually takes about 2 hours with this one to go ahead and get all the wax to melt down into the water, and that way we can move on to the next step. So we'll see you in a little while when we check on it, okay? Okay, so the smaller cooker is done. The white wax that we did, I've already pulled it out and threw away the filters. You can see it's still bubbling, so it's super hot. So I've got everything turned off. As it cools down, and Danica's being my model, she's throwing her hands in there. Thanks, Danica. We'll have a layer of wax. It's going to be at the top of this. It'll cool down, it'll harden, and then all we got to do is pop it right out, and we'll get to that later. The large cooker, let's see, here's Miss Danica, she's helping. We're going to come over here and check on it. Now it is still melting. It's gross. I put a lot in there, but I don't know if you remember when I was putting all that wax in there earlier, it was all the way up into the lid. You can see how much is melted down. We still got a ways to go, so we may end up concluding this video tomorrow. It probably will take all night for this to cool off, but it's getting there. All right, we'll check back in with it later. All right, so it's time to get this out, but I'm going to move it over here. Hold on just a second, Danica. Look at this one. Look at that. It's already starting to dry. It's still, the pot is still a little warm, so we're going to probably let it set overnight and let it cool down completely. But you can kind of tell how it's floating on top of the water. So in the morning, we'll be able to pop it right out and have one little solid thing.
Cool, guys. That's really cool, guys. We're going to empty this one now.
I am, yes. Okay. You did good. All right, so this is really hot, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off the cooker. We'll slide that over. All right, Danica, you stay up. You stay there. So we're just going to pull it up and just let everything drip out. You don't want to squeeze it or anything like that because that will force impurities through the filter. So we're just going to let it run until it stops, basically. It's pretty much still dripping. My hand's getting tired.
Then switch it, Mommy.
Oh.
Do you want me to hold this?
It's hot and heavy, baby. Okay, so I've got some cardboard laid down over here. So we're just going to flop that over there right now. Bloop. All right. So we can see, yeah, we can see it's still bubbling, but look how much darker that is right now. Now it'll lighten up some once it dries, but it's definitely darker because we had some dark stuff in there from the brood and everything. But
And
still,
delicious.
it does smell good. All right, so let me just set this back down here, and we're gonna take off. Hey. All right, so we're gonna kind of unwrap this, and you guys can see what's left over.
I don't
Yes.
like that pot.
It will be blah. That does smell delicious.
Look,
All right.
look, Daddy. Come be surprised. Come be surprised.
Oh, wow. That's like really white. I'm used to seeing the yellow.
Mm-hmm.
That is it.
All right, so let's see.
Say hi to the camera.
All right.
I'm good.
Okay. Okay, here's the
Woo.
moment
hot.
of
It's still hot.
grossness.
At a moment of grossness. Trying to get my hands on it so I don't burn myself. Here, let's use this towel. The glass itself is pretty hot.
But is the wrapping, Mommy?
No, but the stuff inside of it's hot, so it's steaming up. You see it? There we go. There we go. Woo.
Well, there's the cap of it. You can see that. But
Look at all that. Oh, look, Daddy. Look at all the impurities that were in there. Ew. So that's what we don't want in the wax. So this is filter that out.
The yucky can.
The yucky cam. But anyway, so that just gets trashed. But now we're just going to basically probably let this sit overnight because it is so hot. And then in the morning we'll be able to pop it out. So we'll check back in with you guys then. Okay? All right, guys. So this is the next morning and everything's cooled off. We're going to attempt to see if we can get this out. I may have to have some help.
Let me hold the
Yeah.
camera for you there, baby.
Thank you.
There we go. Ew.
No, it's still kind of gross, isn't it? Oh, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Look at there.
Wow, look how thick that is. And you may have to rinse that off.
Yeah, I have to rinse it off. It's got some sediment and stuff on it. But look at that. Isn't that cool? So I'm just going to set it over here. I'll go rinse it off in a minute.
Pure beeswax. Wow.
And then the white. Get anything on it.
Yeah, the white one's cool because I've never seen beeswax so white looking.
So clean.
But they never did anything to it. They just made the comb.
That's it. There was no honey ever in that wax there. There you go, and we'll make another video later of us melting this down and making some candles. And as always, you guys have a great day.